Welcome to Triangle BNI. Today's show is brought to you by Oak City Tech. We talk all the time about the digital world and how crowded and loud and wrong and all those kind of things. So you need professionals on your side to help you navigate all of that and get to communicate more with your current clients and get to communicate better with your future clients. If you go to oakcitytech.com, tell them what you're looking for. I know they'll be able to help you. Hi, everybody. My name is Mike Manning. Each week on Triangle BNI, we bring you a local small business success story. If you are not familiar with BNI, it is Business Networking International, the world's largest networking organization. And our little slice of heaven here in the Triangle is Raleigh, Durham, and Chapel Hill, and all the towns associated with the Triangle. And each week, about 30 chapters, almost 530 members get together, and our goal is to help each other grow our businesses. In our local small business success story this week, Amanda Jordan with AR Home Improvement. Her and her husband, Aaron, run that business. Amanda is looking to start a chapter in the Franklinton area. So if you own a business or know of somebody owning a business looking to grow it, Franklinton, Lewisburg, Oxford, Creedmoor, we'll get to all those towns in just a minute that Amanda knows better than I do. But Amanda will be the one to reach out to. So, Amanda, glad to have you on the show today. How are you?
I'm fantastic. Thank you for having me.
Oh, glad to have you. So, business owner, wife, mother of two. Yeah, nothing else going
Yes.
on, right?
Nope, nope. It's easy.
There you go. There you go. All right. So, you and Aaron own AR Home Improvement. Uh,
Yes.
I know where the A comes from. Tell me where the R comes from.
So the A actually comes from our daughter Aspen.
Ah,
We all have A names except for our youngest, and his is Riker.
okay. I got
So,
it now. I got it.
yeah.
All right. Will Riker ever ask why he's not an A name?
um, I don't think so.
Yeah.
He always tells us he likes his name.
There you
So,
go. It's a good name. Now, those two are different names. How'd you come up with those?
so Aspen, we came up with it. The movie Bedtime Stories with Adam Sandler, the front desk woman, which is actually Xena Warrior Princess. Her name was Aspen. She's kind of the bad character, so we were hesitant. um, but I fell in love with the name. And then Riker, I found one day, kind of zooming through Google, looking at baby names, and I trumped everybody on that one because they wanted to name it like Abel, and Aspen was stuck on Maddox, and I was like, Riker, it's a good strong name.
There you go. Yep, and
So,
neither one of them are gonna run into many people with those names, that's for sure.
nope, exactly.
All right, so AR Home Improvement is a handyman company. It is veteran owned, and we'll get to that in just a minute because that's again, it's part of who you guys are. How
Yes.
did you don't have a lot of background, and we're gonna get to your work history as well, which does not show up in the home handyman world. How and when and why did you decide to start this business?
So, for a few reasons, Aaron was working kind of in the industry, and he was constantly seeing things that he was like, oh man, I wish I could improve this. Or, saw something, he's like, I know I can help them. And so we're like, well, why not help them? Why not build that relationship with them and ultimately make it happen, build trust, build connection. A lot of people out there are afraid of being ghosted by handyman. We're almost looked at as like a used car salesman. So it was really important to us that we start a company on our morals and ethics. That way we can kind of show people you can trust us. We're going to do good work for you.
It's interesting you bring that up because, yes, every industry has a myth, and our myth about handyman are all visual myths of what they look like, right? 50 years
Yes.
old, big gut, cigarette hanging out of their mouth. We see butt crack when they squat down to fix something. They're walking, looking, and they take forever. But that's not true for you guys because it's a business in the handyman world.
Correct. Yes, we're looking to change the stigma of it. We're looking to really just show people that it doesn't have to be like that.
And I always like hearing the moment in time decision for people to start their own business because Small business ownership is not for the faint of heart. I call it stressful freedom, and it's both of those. It's
Yes.
both of those every day, right? Some more than
Yes.
others. You were still working with the Fox I Group when you guys just decided to make that change. Did that? How much did
Yes.
that factor in to this moment in time to start AR Home Improvement?
A lot. So I was blessed in my job because had the flexibility with the kids. Um, but Aaron's job didn't. I mean, he was still in the trades and working sometimes 16-hour days. And I was like, what does this look like for us? Because we have two kids. They're going to start getting into sports and all the other extracurricular activities. And so we knew that we had to make it happen. And within probably a year, I think it's been almost a year and a half, I was like, okay, my job is too much. It's time to step down and help you grow and build the empire for our kids ultimately.
And so far, so good.
So far, so good. We're actually looking to hire people, and that way we can keep growing and preferably veterans. Kind of as you had discussed, it's an important part of our lives. So,
We, not me, am non-might. He's better than I am at this. I have no desire to fix anything around the house. I didn't grow up with a dad that fixed anything around the house, so it's not like anything I picked up on. Where do most homeowners go wrong thinking they can fix something in their house?
oh goodness, I think that's where they go wrong is thinking they can fix something. um, there's been so many times we do get calls from wives, and they're like, "So my husband tried to fix this," um, and we go in, and oh man, just don't. If you think you can, it's a good possibility that you can't. So just don't.
I think a handyman is a winner for the husband and the wife because the
It's
wife,
true.
if she doesn't want to fix it, she gets it done correctly, and the husband goes, "Oh, thank God there's somebody else to do it." I'm sure you
Yes,
get thanked from both at times, right?
we do, especially now in this day and age. I mean, everybody is just so busy and so much on their plate. So when we're able to take that off of them, it's a relief for the entire family.
What what are the most common calls you get from homeowners?
Um, a lot of the times it can be as simple as fixing a light fixture to changing out, let's see what else, deck repairs, paint jobs. It just depends. Hanging TVs, floating
Mhm.
shelves, everything that, you know, they just don't want that responsibility of trying to find the stud to hang the TV on. And even pictures. You would be surprised at how many people want pictures hung as well.
Yeah, there's an art to that because your eye may see it straight, but you probably didn't measure it, correct?
So I'll tell you a funny story. Aaron calls me laser eye. He hates hanging pictures for me because I am super OCD when it comes to picture hangings. And he'll hang it and I'll be like, oh, babe, that's not straight. And he's like, yes, it is. Yes, it is. And he'll go pull out his level and it's off probably an eighth of an inch. And he's like, how do you see that? So he hates hanging pictures for me, poor guy.
So that is your superpower you bring to the business, right?
It is. It's yep, my superpower.
Are you called on to go on site with him at any point in time?
He does ask me every once in a while to go. He tries to teach me so I have a better understanding of the field because sometimes it's really difficult when people will call me and they'll be like, "Do you do this?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I think he does." But so he's trying to teach me because I am very much the business side of things and I have no idea. I have no
And
idea.
yeah, how often do you get questions of things that you don't do?
Not too often. With North Carolina, we can't do electrical and plumbing without a license. And then since he's not a general contractor, it has to be under $30,000. But for the most part, he can do everything. I know it's kind of cliche to say jack of all trades, but he really has had his hands in everything. He started in high school doing building trades, and then he's worked for a plumber and HVAC. And so he at least has the knowledge. And the nice thing about him is if he can't do it or he doesn't feel comfortable, he'll let the client know, hey, I don't feel comfortable with this. Maybe you should call so and so or somebody that does it on a regular basis.
And I think that actually helps you guys, the fact that you can tell people don't have a license, can't do it, instead of, "Hey, can you give it a shot?" And you know others have. You know
Yes.
somebody without a license, and I laugh in BNI because a lot of people have that Uncle Billy. Uncle Billy's a painter, but he also handles the business small business or family's IT department. And it's like,
Yeah.
dude, you don't get it. You don't. Here's why you shouldn't do that, because Uncle Billy doesn't get that notification at 11:15 at night on Saturday that you're being hacked. So he doesn't really handle your IT department. So I know Aaron's come in behind people that said, well, we had this friend or neighbor or family member that thought they could do it, and probably not even
Yes.
close, right?
Yeah, I imagine that some of the companies are probably going to be like, oh man, they're telling on us again because we actually saw a woman the other day and she had a door that was warped and he's like, it was how it was installed. And, um, she was able to at least, it was under warranty. So he at least can help in that sense too, that if they do have work done to get it in that warranty time frame for them too.
Now, my wife, Becky, and I have been married 35 years. Will be 36 here in a couple of months. And I don't see me ever working with her. I love her to the ends of the earth and back. I always like to ask married couples or living together partners or, people that are in knee deep in a relationship, how that works. So, two questions. One is, at the end of the day, what do you talk about? And who makes who breaks the tie if it's a 1-1 vote?
That's a great question. So we have a rule. We don't talk about work after certain times for both of us. And if it does come up, we kind of like if it's important, we'll write it down or get it out fast, and then that's it for the night. Um, but for a tie, we actually have a really good friend that lives out in Wyoming, and he's kind of like a mentor for us.
Mm.
He knows nothing about the business, but he's very successful in business. So sometimes we'll give him a call and be like, "Hey, what do we do in this
Yeah,
situation? We can't agree,
yeah.
and we need help." And so he's normally the voice of reason for us, and sometimes he gives it to us both ways. But
Mhm.
the crazy thing about Aaron and I is we think a lot of like we've been together for a long time. And we actually used to train horses together when we were going through college. And so we kind of know that business working together background and we level each other out. His strengths are my weaknesses and my weaknesses are his strengths. So it's really compatible.
And Becky and I have that same relationship. I'm the gas and she's the brakes.
Yep. Yep. Exactly.
Are you the gas?
Um, no, it depends on the situation, I
Okay.
guess.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm the one that's organized and keeps him
Mm.
organized.
Your role in the business, we know he's out and about every day. He's doing the field work.
Yes.
So what else does he do and what is your role in this?
So he's doing estimates and invoices. He pretty much does everything that is in the field right now. I am the kind of front desk person, as you will. I'm making sure that clients are getting called, working on getting new clients, building marketing, building the Franklinton BNI so that we can give people out here the opportunity to have referrals and networks to go to people that they trust.
Now, speaking of the BNI chapter, and that's how you and I met through that, you decided one day because you have a working knowledge of BNI from back in the day in South Dakota, which we will get to as well.
Mhm.
And you knew, but you're a go-getter. You're a marketer. You're you're a connector of people, and you want to be part of a group like that to help grow the business.
Yes.
I did not know because Robbie Powell is your co-partner here, right? He's an
Yes.
insurance guy, and he's also wanting to be part of that chapter. I did not realize that Franklinton was growing like it is till you 2 explained it to me.
It's so exciting. Um, I can't wait to see this Franklin chapter take off because it's going to be big. Like the surrounding areas are just growing so much. I actually spoke with somebody interested this morning, and even he was like, I know how many houses are coming out this way, and it's only a matter of time. So,
And you're looking for business owners in Franklinton, Oxford, Creedmoor, Youngsville,
yep.
where else?
Lewisburg,
Okay. That's the one I
Bunn,
forgot, yep. Okay.
yep. It's all about 20 minutes into Franklinton, so good triangle area.
It is, and north is, there's only you can only you basically, this area can go north and south, and that's about it, right?
That's about it.
The thing we can tell people about wanting to join a BNI, and I always tell people that if you're a helper at heart, you're going to do well in BNI, and I think you and Robbie, because Robbie's got, and you actually, you 2 are a good example of how people can get along because you and Aaron are new to this area for the most part, and
Yes.
Robbie's dyed-in-the-wool local, right? So
Yep.
each of you are looking at this chapter growth from 2 different angles.
Yep. Yeah, Robbie's definitely a go-getter. I'm super excited that he has joined up with me because he knows everybody and it's helpful. So he's like, "Oh, we can do here, go here." And I'm that outside perspective of, "Well, what about this?" And so we make a great team. I'm super excited about working with him.
Oh, yeah. It'll be a lot of fun, and if people go to trianglebni.com, there is a calendar of events. We have 2 launch meetings each week, one at Tuesday at noon and one Thursday at 8 a.m. You can go to either one of them because the formats are the exact same, and get to know a little bit more about BNI, but also meet Amanda and Robbie and some other people. You're going to meet somebody you don't know, so it's worth going anyways. It's on
Mhm.
Zoom, doesn't cost you a penny, no commitment, no hook, no nothing. Just we want you to visit and see what happens. And then
Absolutely.
you'll get to meet, like I said, you'll get to meet Amanda and Robbie, put you in a breakout room with them, talk a little bit more with them about, hey, tell me more of your thoughts on this, and just kind of see where it goes. So your connection to BNI was way back in the day, right?
Way back
Way
in
back
the
in the day
day.
because 'cause you're so old, right? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm so
In South Dakota, right?
yes.
Right. So what
Yep.
were you doing there that got you connected with BNI?
I actually we went to school out there um, for horse training, and then I got into the collection field, and I was a client service representative, and I had went and did the visitor thing with BNI, and it was fantastic. I had no idea that you could get a group of people from all different trades in one group, and they helped each other out. Um, it's just it's such a cool experience to build, especially for me, to build those connections with people because you never know who's out there to give you opportunities.
And so you and I met in person, was that last 2 Fridays ago, I think it was? Something like that. Yeah,
Yep,
at the Wake
something like
Forest
that.
Coffee Company. And so now you're no longer a Zoom friend, you're an in-person friend now because I still have a
Yeah,
list of Zoom friends that I've never met in person, right?
yeah.
And when you're telling me about your, uh, job there in South Dakota, I so wish that you had gone on site to collect stuff and hear some good stories about knockdown, drag out fights and threats and everything like that, but no, right?
No,
Okay.
I am not that type of person. I would probably fail at that job.
Now, let me dispute that for a second. So, here's the funny thing about Zoom. Amanda and I met, so 2 Fridays ago. We've known each other, what are we going on, 3 months, 3.5 months, something like
Yeah.
that, and we finally met
Yep.
in person, and the whole time Amanda was sitting down. And last week, Amanda visited my chapter in person. I'm like, "Oh." And I got the opposite. Amanda's not quite as tall as I am. We'll just leave it at
Yep.
that. And I was a Zoom friend of somebody for a long time, finally met him in person, and they looked at me kinda, "Huh, thought you'd be taller." I'm like, "Wait, how does the camera even give you the"
It's great.
But
I
good.
I was gonna say just be like people's perception is just
Yeah.
funny for
See,
sure.
that's why I think you'd be a great collector, because some guy would eye you up and down and go, yeah, I don't think I want to I don't think I want to mess here because there's something I'm not seeing. It is probably the fight of the dog inside, not the size of the fight.
Probably.
Yeah, which my dad always used to tell me. Yeah, but I would imagine you roll into somebody's driveway and get out of your car, and they're like, "This sounds like a setup right here."
It's probably you're probably right, I guess. Yeah.
Because
Yeah.
I'm sure you have shortened some arguments in your day, right? Yeah,
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 it's
yeah.
those small ones you got to worry about, you know.
So you and Aaron were out at National American University, is that correct?
Yes. Yep, that's
You
correct.
have a Bachelor of Applied Science in Horse Husbandry and Equine Science.
Yes.
How do we get from there to AR Home Improvement today?
Oh, what a journey. I almost think this podcast isn't long enough. But we wanted to train horses. We thought that it would be super fun and we wanted to experience the world. And so we had moved out there, and what an experience it is. If you guys have a chance to visit Rapid City, South Dakota, it is one of the most beautiful places. Mount Rushmore is there and Crazy Horse, and you can see for miles. It's just breathtaking. So we had made it out there, and then Aaron decided to join the military, and it kind of took us around the world, and then we had kids, and horses are expensive,
Yeah,
and so you got to choose your kids and not your horses, you know. And um
I've heard that
so
from
we're
other horse owners, yes.
yeah, we'll eventually have horses again
Yep,
after kids
yep.
get out of the house.
Now, where did the military take you to?
It actually took us to Goldsboro
Mhm.
at Seymour Johnson. Aaron had 2 deployments, and they went to send him again after he'd only been home for 4 or 5 months. And we're like, nope. Um, it was just too much. And we only had Aspen at the time, but she was starting to realize that, like, man, daddy's gone for a long time. And so we got out, and we actually moved back to South Dakota for a little bit. And they had the worst blizzard in history. It was crazy. And I was like, what are we doing out here? We lost power for 48 hours. The snow was up past almost our door on our back porch because it had drifted so much. And we moved like 3 months later. We were done. Came back here. And I
Now,
was like, okay.
can I envision Aaron going out into the wilderness and killing an elk and bringing it back and skinning it, and you guys cook it, and that's what dinner is?
Yes. Yeah. If we could live off the grid, he would probably be so happy. He loves that stuff.
So he could
He
be
always
on the what's the show in Alaska?
he wants to do
Yeah,
that. And I
okay.
was like, I think you would miss us too much. And he's like, yeah, but I could do it. I'm like, I think you can, but you would miss us too much.
Well, then here's what he can do. A friend of the show, Wes Harper, is one of the all-stars on Naked and Afraid.
That's awesome.
Yep, so maybe I'll get Aaron to talk to Wes and the training, and he can go live in the, South American jungle for 21 days and then prove that he can do that, so,
He would love it. He's
alright,
crazy like that.
then
It's
I will do an email
yes.
introduction because Wes has been on, he's been on 3 shows. He was in COVID. They had to come get him to get him back to
Okay.
the States before they shut everything
Yep.
down, and his son was just on a show. They debuted that a couple weeks ago, so that was fun. But, so
That's awesome.
he would wanna live out in the wilderness, you not quite as much? Okay,
I can do the wilderness. I don't mind it. I love being outdoors, but
yeah,
to live out there and do some of those things,
yeah. One of my, favorite questions to ask married guests are, how did you and Aaron meet, and do you both tell the story the same way?
we probably wouldn't tell the story the same way, but we met in high school. We were actually high school sweethearts for a really long time. And gosh, I used to yell. It's funny. I used to yell at him when we were kids riding horses because he always used to run his horse when he wasn't supposed to. So he always makes fun of me for that. And then we broke up for a little bit and we got back together and have been married almost 11 years. So we're kind of inseparable.
And where did you 2 grow up?
Upstate New York,
Okay.
about 30 minutes from Niagara Falls area.
And how and why would he tell that story different?
Um, he probably would forget parts and be like, did that happen? And
Oh, that's normal guy stuff. I thought it was gonna be so yeah. So what grade did you 2 meet in?
oh gosh, I was 12 and he was 13,
Alright.
I think. Um, and we didn't start dating until I think his junior year of high school. He bugged me a lot and I
Mhm.
kept telling him no. Um, just because he was like one of my best friends. So it was crazy to think that I would even date him, let alone marry him now.
Yeah. What changed your mind?
Um, he was a good person. He had always helped me out. He was always there for me when I needed him, and something was like, "Hey, wake up! Like, you're this good guy. Don't let him get away." So,
And where was the first date?
I think it was at a Mexican restaurant. He doesn't remember this, so I can't even say yes or no because we were like seniors.
Well, no, here's the story, Amanda. If he can't remember, you can say whatever you want.
It's true. It's true. And he just agreed with me.
Then if you've known each other that long, which I like these stories, when did you know that, "Hey, you know what? I think there's something here."
Um, Probably it's funny, probably after we broke up the first time. We both had to go our separate ways for a little bit
Mhm.
and learn that we had good things in both of each other and, kind of fall on our faces a little bit and fail. And we learned to appreciate each other a
Yeah.
lot more.
And so how did you get out to South Dakota for college?
Um, I didn't want to be in New York anymore. um, I was 18. I was like, I want to get out and experience the world. I have two older brothers and they stay close to home, and I'm the only girl. And I told my mom, like, I'm sorry, I love you, but I'm out. And the college had flown us to go visit and explore. And I fell in love with it. And I asked, Aaron and I were dating at that time. And I was like, hey, do you want to go with me? And he's like, to South Dakota? And I was like, yeah, I think it'll be a lot of fun. So he joined and went to school with me out there. And gosh, so many stories and great memories out there too. It was such an experience to be so far away from home and just really have to depend on each other, because we didn't really know anybody out there. So
Had to have been a tiny school, right? Population-wise.
yeah, not a very big. It was a private school, not very big at all. I think they've grown because they do a lot of online classes, and I think our graduating class was the last year that they had done the equine program there.
Okay.
So
Would that have been a deal killer if he said, "No, I'm not going to follow you to college"?
probably not. I was pretty sold at that point. It was so beautiful out there, and being young and just wanting to get away from New York. It I think I would have went anyway.
What outdoor lifestyle skills did you learn there, and how many of those do
um,
you still do here, riding, shooting, stuff like that?
so I actually learned most of my outdoor skills at home. I grew up in a family that hunted and fished, and most of our meat came from venison. And Aaron had actually grown up with a farm, and so they did a lot of butchering their own cows and growing vegetables. And so we gained a lot of skills actually in New York, which is surprising to a lot of people. We grew up in a pretty small rural area. Like Aaron's class, I think, was 77 kids. And mine was only 114, so it wasn't very big at all.
That was big to him
um,
though, wasn't it?
yes, yes. And then when we moved to South Dakota, it's funny because it's so different out there. So it's hard for them to really grow because it's dry and hot and
Mm,
cold almost 9 months out of the year. And we're talking below freezing,
yeah.
negative 25, 30 with the wind chill. Um, so it's just a different kind of life. You have to learn to layer, and it's bone chilling cold. Um,
And you're
but
coming from a place, in my eyes, right? I think whenever I think cold, cold, and I know it's not the coldest, but I just keep hearing stories about Buffalo and all these northern towns that are on the water that wind comes across and you just can't get warm enough, can you?
it's true, you cannot get warm enough. The difference between the two is New York's really damp. So once you get cold, you can't warm up. It's just you're froze until you can get inside. South Dakota, it takes your breath away because it's dry cold. So when you
Mhm.
breathe, I don't even know how to explain it, but it's cold.
Were you stuck in the snow at any point in time in South Dakota trying to get back inside?
um, we almost the day of that snowstorm, they didn't project it to be super bad. And we almost didn't make it off the highway before they closed it behind us to go home.
Oh,
And when we had gotten home, it got nasty really fast. The state was in an emergency state. They lost livestock that day. They the cows and horses couldn't see where to go, and so they were walking off cliffs or walking
oh,
over wires. It was just a really crazy experience. Um, and the next day it was 40 degrees.
oh, geez.
Yeah, so it was just you know, sneeze and the weather will change out there.
You go there for the view, not the weather, right?
Correct. And you have to go in the summertime,
Yes, yeah,
but before Sturgis, because you don't want to be
yeah.
there during the motorcycle rally.
Unless you're a biker, and then that's heaven for you,
Correct.
right? So,
And I highly recommend it if you're a
yeah.
biker.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah, Daytona and Sturgis, yes. There
Yes.
are others, but yeah. How old were you when you first had a bow and arrow in your hand?
10, I think.
Okay. Was that
I love
was it competition, or were you shooting an animal running away from you?
um, practice first. And then my dad used to take me bow hunting a lot. And it's funny because our daughter Aspen is actually in archery now, and she shoots for competition. And last year, for her first competition, she took the state championship for her age division. So,
Wow. Very cool.
yeah.
What was the back to your growing up and learning that, what was the first thing you brought home with an arrow?
I never got anything with a bow, but I did get a doe the first time I went out with a gun, and my dad had sighted it in for me. I was actually my freshman year of school, so it was Thanksgiving, and he sighted it in for me, and we went out Thanksgiving Day, and he put me up in the tree stand, and he was so proud because he's always wanted to take me out hunting. And sure enough, I got my first doe, and I think that made his entire year that year.
He
It
bragged
was
all his
also
buddies, yeah, didn't he?
yep,
Yeah.
it was also the last time that I had been out hunting.
Well, what and I've never been hunting and don't again, no desire to because I didn't grow up around it, so I don't know what I'm missing, so it doesn't really matter if I
Yep.
go or not. I just my brother-in-law hunts, and I just can't see the fun of sitting in a deer stand for 6, 12, 14 hours, just kinda like fishing, sitting in a boat. What am I doing here?
It was, I like it. It's quiet. It's relaxing, kind of peaceful, zenful, as you will. So I didn't mind the sitting part, but I think that's all I would like to do. I'll let Aaron stick to bringing home the meat, and he can go hunting, and I wouldn't mind joining him. But fishing, I like fishing. I could sit out there for 10 to 12 hours and just sit on a boat and try to catch fish. When we go back to New York, my brothers are charter captains, and we're always catching fish and having huge fish fries at home. So that's nice.
Oh, I bet that's good eating.
It is. It is
Nice,
good.
nice. What can we learn from I have some friends that just love horses, they've been around them forever, and they just swear by those animals. What can we learn from horses? What have you learned from horses?
Oh, so much. So much. So I actually, a dream of mine is to open up a therapeutic riding center for veterans, because the horse has this way of being able to calm you and get you to live in the moment. They are able to show you when you are feeling stressed, and they are able to relax you and just put you back in that grounded state.
I have heard similar things from folks that a horse has a very good sense of how your day is going.
Yes, they know. I actually volunteered out at Peace Reigns and Chapel Hill, and they have a veteran program that they just launched not too long ago. And seeing the horses read the vets and how they interact with them was just an incredible experience. And the vets learned, like, oh, I'm having a stressful day. Well, I shouldn't, because this horse isn't going to stand still for me. I should probably take some deep breaths and redirect myself.
Have your kids been on horses yet?
Yes, they both have.
Okay. They enjoyed it?
They did.
All
Yep.
right. You get many chances to ride yet?
No, I've actually been trying to find places. I miss it. It's been years.
Soon, right?
Yes, soon, hopefully.
Well, you know, one of your kids will get into horse riding and roping and competition, and there goes the
The,
profits you're pulling from the business,
the
right?
little one will definitely. He's my little daredevil, so I
Okay.
don't doubt it.
All right. He'll start riding sheep. When they do those in the little kid
Yep, mutton
rodeos,
busting.
mutton busting, that's what it is, yeah.
Yep,
And then pretty
I can
soon
so see him doing it.
oh, yeah. And and you'll encourage him to do it too, right? Yep. Put a helmet on
Yep,
and have at it, yeah,
yep,
so.
and have at it.
All right, so we wanna get people to come visit the Franklinton chapter. You have a Facebook page, correct?
Yes,
Eh,
Lewisburg BNI.
okay. So if folks will go to that, like that page, you can send a question to Amanda. She can help answer anything you need right now.
Yep.
And we talked about the 2 launch meetings they can come to, and we will soon have a social gathering in that
Yes.
area to invite interested people. So if you'll keep track of the Lewisburg, and it's Lewisburg BNI page, right?
Yep, it's Lewisburg BNI
Okay.
page. Mhm.
So if you'll keep checking that in the next few days, we'll have an update on where that event will be. Again, no expectations, no commitments. Just want you to come out and see if it's something for you. But more importantly, you'll get to meet Amanda, and that'll be
Just
worth the
come say hi.
Yep, that'll be worth the visit right there, because she's cool people and got a energy and a heart to want to grow this to help other small businesses. Amanda, it's been a blast having you on the show today.
Thank you.
Could you give one tip to listeners who think they may or may not want to get into the handyman world? What should they think about, or what should they know how to do?
Um, my biggest tip is, if you are unsure, you should probably call somebody. Um, and it just makes it easier, and Google doesn't always have those answers.
Right. So if they decide I want to do it myself and they want to open up their own handyman shop, what one thing do
Don't
they need to keep in mind?
don't quit, stay consistent.
There you go. And I love when handy people say, "I take care of honey-do lists," because that's a great picture they're painting for people to go, "Oh, thank you. I've been wanting to meet somebody like you."
Yes.
Anyways, good luck with launching chapter, man. If you'll hang on for a minute after
Yep.
the end, good having you on the show today, and we will see everybody next time on Triangle BNI.
You are tuned to the Nissan Communications Network. If you tuned in too late, you can always watch each program in its entirety or download an MP3 audio file of it in the archives section at nissancommunications.com. Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel, follow us on Twitter, and like us on Facebook. Sponsored by StreamingGear.com, Carolina Apparel, and DeltaForce.net.